Alrighty, so let's get started. And I don't think I need to do any introductions because I think at this point you know who all of us are, but I'll do a quick one. So hi everyone, my name is Kayla Williams. We have Jacqueline here with us, and then we also have Lysandra, our program assistant for SOAR, here as well. And so let's jump right in. So for today's session, what we're going to be covering is a welcome, right? So the brief introductions that already happened. Now we're looking at the agenda. For this session, I think we're going to skip over the mindfulness recentering activity and just jump right into conflict resolution. But we're going to talk about conflict resolution, right? What is workplace conflict? And then we're going to also use the Gardic phone exercise to really emphasize communication and how to navigate everyone's different interpretations of communication, which can sometimes result into conflict. Then we're going to cover the learning action plan. We'll talk about reflection, self-reflection, how to set SMART goals, developing your learning action plan. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to provide any reminders and next steps to you all as you continue in your internships, and also reminding you of when our next PD session will be. If there are any questions as we are going through this workshop, please feel free to put them in the chat, just so that we can be on top of time and things like that. And if there is time, then we'll have a moment at the end for like questions where students can take off, unmute yourself, ask any questions that you might have. And then I'll also try to monitor the chat as we go to answer any questions. And I'm sure Jacqueline or Lysandra will also probably monitor the chat and answer questions in there too. Okay, so let's get started. All right. So what is workplace conflict? So according to the businessdictionary.com, conflict is defined as friction or opposition resulting from actual or perceived differences or incompatibilities, right? It's a difference that prevents agreement. And these things can happen in the workplace, right? Conflict in the workplace is a normal part of human interaction. It's really conflict in any kind of setting is a normal part of interaction. And yet, handling and resolving conflict that arises is probably one of the biggest challenges for people in general, but more specifically within the workplace for employees, right? Because of many different things, right? Everyone has their own way of communicating, and sometimes that gets in the way of another person understanding that, and our own filters that also get in the way. But I'm going to play a really short video on resolving workplace conflict that just covers a little bit more about what workplace conflict is and some tips on how to navigate in those situations. Just give me 1 second while I make sure my sound is being shared. So I'm going to play the video. Please let me know in the chat if you're able to hear it, so that I can try to fix it before it gets too far into the video.
Hi, Kayla, we can't hear it.
No matter the field of
There we
work.
go.
Before you can resolve a conflict, you'll want to think about the conflict itself. Listen to your own thoughts and feelings, but also consider why the other person feels the way they do. You may not agree with them, but understanding their point of view can help you to communicate with them more effectively. After considering this, find a time to talk with the other person. It's best to do this in person. Words and feelings can often be misinterpreted over the phone or via text. Before meeting, make sure you're in control of your emotions. Going into it angry or upset will set you up for failure. In the meeting, the first thing you'll want to do is identify the issue and respectfully state your needs. You want to do this without placing any kind of blame on the other person so as not to make them angry. Also, make sure you give them a chance to talk and that you actively listen to them when they do. Once you've both voiced how you feel, try initiating some kind of resolution. brainstorm some possible solutions, offer a compromise, or try listing pros and cons with the other person. Hopefully, you're able to agree on something, but if not, it's important to keep calm and bring in an unbiased third party if possible. Someone like a supervisor may be able to help clarify and resolve the situation. Conflict can be stressful, but if you keep your emotions in check and approach things with an open mind, finding a solution can be that much easier.
Awesome. So similar to what the video describes, right? Conflict happens for a lot of reasons. Sometimes just taking that initiative to have that communication and recognizing maybe you might need a moderator or someone there that's present that can actually help you navigate having a conversation to resolve conflict is always helpful, right? But definitely communication is key, and figuring out the best way to communicate the things that may be bothering you is also one of the ways that can resolve conflict. But in thinking about conflict,
Workplace conflict.
There we go. Okay. So in thinking about one of the ways to resolve conflict, I wanted to kind of have a group discussion. Because conflict happens also in one-to-one communication, but also can happen just because we're afraid to kind of have these conversations with supervisors. So in this main group, let's look at this scenario, right? For example, let's say at your internship site as a intern, you meet with your supervisor who keeps you engaged with a variety of different tasks. But suddenly your supervisor is called into a meeting. After an hour, you have completed all the tasks assigned. You're bored and unsure of what to do next. How would you, as an intern, proceed, right? So take a moment, reread it if you need to, and think about how would you approach this situation, right? Because there's different ways that you can approach it. One might be in a way that is helpful and doesn't lead into more conflict, and another way might not, right? So really think about it. How would you approach the situation? Again, you're a SOAR student. A SOAR student meets with their supervisor who keeps them engaged with a variety of tasks. Suddenly, their supervisor is called into a meeting. After an hour, the student has completed all the tasks assigned to them. They are bored and unsure of what to do next. How should the student proceed? How would you approach this situation? So take a moment, use the chat or even your mics so that we can have a discussion about this example.
Hey everyone, how are you? Happy Friday. I was just
Happy
wondering if the
Friday.
mic's working. You guys can hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So I think in this particular situation, the right thing for me to do if I'm left alone and I finish my tasks would be to do some research and see if there's any other tasks that I know that I can help out with. Maybe it could be work that I've seen my mentor do or my supervisor do or my coworkers do, and just pick up a little bit on the nature of what goes on with the company I work with and how I can apply myself. But I think if I'm bored and I'm not doing anything, it's not gonna be the best result for myself personally. So I think the best thing for me to do or just to see how I can keep myself busy and productive.
Very nice. And we also have in the chat, very similar, right? Students need to ask their supervisors what they can do next. Another one said take initiative and see what else can be done around the office. And then we also have, right, Lance agrees with you, Kevin. And then also asking the supervisor if it's the right time or when it's the right time, I guess, to have a conversation to talk about what the next assignments would be. We also have in the chat, Jonathan, the SOAR intern can look to engage with other employees or interns and prepare for the next task and or review others' work asked my supervisor at the beginning of my internship, and this is from Brendan, at the beginning of my internship for a long-term project that I can clip away at during work downtime. It didn't, oops, this is covering me. If I didn't have that, I would spend more time learning more and the work, about the work that I've been doing. Really nice. I would ask my colleague if I can help them. And then also Jonathan Mark added at his hotel job, he sorts chairs, cleans hotel cards, try to practice customer service skills and learning what my colleagues are doing and how I can be an excellent hotel concierge. So these are all great responses, right? And the ways that all of you that have responded have indicated how you would ask for support or take initiative to kind of see what other things that you can support with, I think is a great approach, because there are other approaches that you can take that can cause more conflict than actually resolving anything, right? Sometimes as an intern, there are downtime and idle time where you might not have all of these tasks, and you might just be really, really great and be really, really quick and complete things really fast. And so sometimes in those settings, you could be bored, but just like many of you said, right, taking that extra step, taking that extra initiative to see what else could be done, rather than in another sense, kind of either being upset that there isn't no work, or just sitting idle, right? Because that can result in conflict. Someone seeing you sitting idle, it's like, oh, well, what other things can you do, right? So taking that initiative is always great. So thank you so much for those that engaged. So now, kind of still in line with conflict in the workplace, we're going to do an activity. We're going to use the Gardic phone for this exercise. And I'm just going to read a little bit how to play, but I'm also going to play a video on how to play, because I think sometimes the visual and the audio can help. How to play this game is I'm going to be sending an invite link through the chat for all of you to join and add your nickname. And so I'm going to do that right now. So that while I'm playing the video, at least all of us are probably on there just for time. So give me one moment. Okay, so that's the invite link. So let me go back to my shared screen. So first thing, you're going to click the invite link and add in your nickname. Once the game starts, everyone will write a sentence. So for example, you can write something like, the Kool-Aid man is on the run, or a bald tiger drinking tea. And after everyone randomly draws one of the sentences, then we will also share that album with everyone. And this is really going to go back into conflict resolution, you will see eventually. And so as you're playing, really think about how this might relate to how conflict is formed in the workplace. So I'm going to play this really short video on how it works, just to give another visual of it. Awesome. So now that we have seen that, I'm going to go over here. So we have 24 out of 50. We have about one participant in our Zoom, so I'll give it a little bit more time and then we will get started once I think we're at a decent spot. All right, so we got more coming in. Who are we still waiting for? You can put in the chat just so I know to wait a little bit or if we should start. Captain Neptune, love it. We have AI. I'm not sure if that's the initials, but if it's AI, that's also a cool nickname. So nice. I am nice. Alrighty, so are we good to go? Is everyone in? Oh, wait, no, we have two more. AI might be nice. I think we have more. Alright, I think we might have stopped a bit. I'll wait like one more minute to see if there's any objections and someone's like, wait, I haven't joined. So I'll give it one more minute. Alrighty, so, oops. Alrighty, so we're gonna get started. For those that might not have made it, I'm so sorry. You can definitely try to guess them and participate in the chat if you would like, but I'm going to press start, and I'm gonna share my screen, and then we'll look at everyone's drawings and writings afterwards. So let me press start. Oh, see, we're gonna get an influx of more. Hey, okay, so I'm gonna press start now. All right, so now we're gonna write a sentence. I wish there was some music. I didn't have any music. All right, so we're getting close to moving on. Ooh, a chimpanzee working on a computer? Oh my god. Let's figure out how we're gonna draw this. running out of time. Oh gosh. No! I should have left it. And we're done. All right. I'm excited to see how everyone else's went. Let's see. Awesome. Okay. So let's look at everyone's. And as we're looking at them, right, remember in the beginning when I was introducing this exercise, really think about how this, right, kind of can give us an idea of how conflict can arise. How does this form conflict? Not necessarily this, but aspects of this. A cat playing basketball. So let's see what was drawn. Nice. That's really awesome. Also, feel free to unmute yourself with your reactions to different things, or even write in the chat with your thoughts on the exercise. All right, let's see. Cool nickname 8484. I can talk about my issues with my supervisor. Ah, thank you for telling me. Very cool. Nice. Monkey driving a car. Ooh, very good, very nice. Dropping my book on my foot. Ouch. Okay. Very cool. It's impossible on mobile. Well, that's good to know now for future reference. I mistook my drawing word for someone else. This is really good. Wow, that's really cool. Mozzarella stick and a top hat. this is really good. It's funny. And also, for those that are participating in this exercise, was kind of drawing the sentence that you were given. Was it hard? Was it easy? Let me know. What were your thoughts in interpreting what another person was saying? Pigeon skateboarding. We tried.
Some of these sentences I really got to give to them. They're pretty tough.
Say it again. Sorry.
Some of the sentences that we were given are pretty tough. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, especially trying to figure out, like, how can I draw this in a certain amount of time?
No, seriously.
Yeah. A worker struggling to lift heavy boxes. That's cool. Let's see. And we have, again, a cat playing basketball. Unless we went back to the top. No, we didn't. Okay, cool.
We all know who AI is now.
And oh gosh, I didn't finish the drawing. See? It does. It goes by really, really, really fast. The best day is Monday.
That is really good.
Awesome. And let's see. I'm going to the shopping center with my sister. Nice.
Wow.
Very much captured. I see it.
Definitely.
Blonde celebrity in a house. That could be anyone, and I love it.
And that was not easy to do.
Oh, is this
That
yours?
was not easy to do.
Panda's album. Panda is making a pancake without adding flour. Oh wow, this is so specific. It would be hard to draw.
Wow.
That's cool. We got the panda though. The panda is down.
It's true.
Slow vulture at the bus station. We got the bus station.
Yep.
So we got something. I eat ham. these sentences. That's great.
No.
Pick up the phone call. Awesome. So if anyone can kind of sense how this portrays a little bit of how conflict can be formed, does anyone want to try to take a stab at that as we look at that?
Miscommunication.
Exactly. I think that's just the biggest part. It's miscommunication, right? That's one
Mhm.
of the biggest aspects of conflict, right? Is not being able to either completely understand what someone's trying to tell you
Mhm.
based off of your own filters, right? We all have different filters.
You
Right.
have to try to best guess, or you have to try to make a guess.
Say it again.
So, with the drawings, even though there are no words, you have to try to make a guess. You have to try to see what's happening. You have to try to use critical thinking. You have to think out of the box. You have to brainstorm.
Very true. Exactly. And all of those things that you mentioned is what you can definitely apply in the workplace, right? You're having to try to decipher what another person's saying, but also at the same time, now you're in the workplace where you're able to ask those questions. In this particular activity, right, there's not really that avenue to ask questions to get clarity, but at least within the workplace, there is that space, hopefully, right, where you feel comfortable to ask questions and get that kind of clarity. But really, this really just kind of highlights how we all communicate very differently, right? Either through written or even through drawing something, right? We communicate very differently. And communication and those differences can cause conflict. So taking that extra time to really be aware of your own filters, right? And filters that get in the way sometimes are um, that kind of get in the way of how you hear things can be related to your family background, maybe your past work experiences, maybe your educational background, whatever it is. But be aware of those things because sometimes that is what can cause conflict to arise. Right? So we'll look at a few more and then we're going to go back into the presentation. But if there's any other um, uh, kind of kind of insight that you received from this activity, definitely feel free to share it in the chat. So we'll look at a few more. We got I. Nice. Lazy bear is sleeping on the Mars. Very cool. Nice. And then maybe cool. So we'll stop here just for time, and we'll go back to the slide. But thank you so much again for participating in this exercise. For those that were able to join, I know it's not great on the phone, so next time we'll make sure we send a communication saying, "Please join on your computer for future." Alrighty. So, and thinking about conflict, and let me go into slideshow. To summarize what I talked about, there's a lot of reasons for conflict. And the first reason is what we mentioned in terms of the exercise is a lack of context or communication, right? Or miscommunication, which is the second one on this list. But one of the other ones is conflicting goals or expectations, right? Especially if a project is a team effort. Sometimes conflict can arise there. Poor planning processes, right? Which may result in inefficiency, doubling up, or misinterpreting, or missing key aspects of the task. So that also can be something that you can see when you're looking at the exercise, right? Depending on the sentence, right? If it is actually too specific or not specific enough, the outcome of it, of the drawing that someone might present, might be very different than what the actual sentence was, right? So misinterpreting or missing key aspects of the task. Unfair distribution of work, which can breed resentment as well as inefficiency. Poor use of team member skills, right, which can result in the team underperforming. Missing major or minor deadlines. I think both of those can result into conflict. especially when they hold up the flow of work. External factors, right? This can be personal or work commitments that affect the group or uh, individual's ability to perform. You also have dominance of a group by one or more members, which can lead to disharmony and frustration. And then, last but not least, freeloading, right, where a group member deliberately avoids contributing in order to receive marks without effort, right? So all of these things are reasons for the work for conflict in the workplace, but they're all manageable in the sense that you can make attempts to resolve those things, right? So if conflict does arise within a team to the extent that it impedes on the group's dynamic or quality of work, consider following some of these steps, right? Identify the cause of the conflict. State the effect on the team and the task that this conflict is doing, right? It's really going to impede on the work that you're trying to do. Negotiate a solution, right? Have a conversation and really talk through a solution that is suitable for all parties. Outline steps that can be taken to resolve the conflict. Also, equally as important is to document that process, document the conversation and the things that you've agreed on as a party, and then also seek mediation as a last resort. So if you remember the video that we watched, right, in the little cartoons, you saw the two individuals talking, but then they also sought out mediation and had another person there to kind of help facilitate the conversation. If that is needed, do those things that are needed to resolve that conflict, to make a better environment for both of the parties involved. And so above all, negotiate, right? Separate interests from egos and try to manage the best result for all, right? Remember to turn disagreement into a positive attribute of teamwork and make conflict constructive rather than a personal attack. And then also, one thing is being proactive. If you notice there's conflict, try not to be the person that's like, well, I'm just not going to handle, I'm just going to leave that alone and do something else. Try to resolve it. Be proactive, right? Don't wait and see what happens. Find a way to meet face to face, either as a whole group or with the interest of the whole group represented. We have created a conflict resolution handout with just different possible scenarios of conflict that can arise in the workplace. And then we put on the side also some different ways that you can attempt to resolve that kind of conflict if those situations arise, just to help you with your internship and even, of course, beyond your internship, right? And other places of work or even in your other current job that you might have at this moment. So you could definitely use that. And at the end of our presentation, we'll make sure we provide it in the chat. Alrighty, so now we're gonna have a quick break. So I think we can have about Jacqueline, do you think a 10-minute break or should we do a 5-minute break?
I think we could do a 5-minute break.
Gotcha. So we
Yeah,
are
maybe
going
we
to
could end
break
early.
at 2:40. It's now 2:40, and we're going to return at 2:45 to talk about the Learning Action Plan and self-reflection. So please make sure, if you haven't already had a book to write things down on, make sure you come back with a book to write things down on. So again, 5-minute break. We'll return at 2:45.
think we're ready to jump back in. It's 2:45. All right, so welcome everybody. I sincerely apologize if I just unmute myself out of nowhere. I'm actually feeling really under the weather. I just started feeling better, but I apologize if I haven't had a chance to get to your messages as of yet. I'm actually taking the day off today, but decided to jump in for this professional development session as we didn't want to reschedule for it. But I apologize if I have to turn off my microphone abruptly. So just as a little bit of a heads up to everybody here. But thank you all so much for joining on a Friday. It's great to see you all. And what we're going to do for this next session is really reflecting and talking more about goals, talking about how to establish reasonable goals and achievable goals, and more importantly, how these goals can be attainable and can be something that you can implement to not only your internship site but to goals in your future. So what we're going to do today is a lot of reflective practice. So reflective practice is a capacity to reflect on actions as to engage in the process of continuous learning. This allows you to gain perspective. It helps you respond more effectively to situations around you. It promotes learning and understanding. And of course, goals are a great way to gain motivation during your internship site, right? You're not just doing this internship to do it, right? You're doing this internship because perhaps you want to gain skill sets. I apologize. Perhaps you want to gain skill sets. Perhaps you want to um, gain knowledge. Perhaps you want to gain things to add on to your resume, to your summer of qualifications, maybe even some trainings. So we're going to be reflecting on what makes a goal achievable and what might be a goal that is not very effective in making you reach your ends goal. If we could go to the next slide. Okay, so this is an activity that's more or less as a reflection. You can feel free to utilize the chat to write down and share if you feel comfortable. However, if you don't feel comfortable sharing the reflection prompt, you don't have to share it. It's just for you to write down maybe on your phone notepad, right, or on a piece of paper. This is just to serve you in a reflection piece. So for the next 3 minutes, please think about one goal that you have achieved so far from the past year. So we're talking 2023. And one goal that has been more challenging that you did not achieve in the year 2023. It could be a personal goal, it could be an academic goal, it can be something that is more work related, right? So while you're doing this, please identify some key words or phrases that made the experience either good or bad. As I mentioned, you can feel free to share in the chat. However, this is just an activity for yourself to start reflecting on your past goal settings. I'll take 2 minutes. Feel free to write down in the chat if you want to share. I see already a really great goal, which is to make the decision to return to school. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought I was muted and then I muted myself. I'm so sorry you guys had to hear that. Okay, so I apologize if you heard me coughing. I'm not sure if I was able to reach my mute button on time, but if you didn't, even better. Um, so I'm seeing some amazing goals here. Some that worked out for some of you, some things that didn't, right? For example, is, getting A's in the first semester at LaGuardia, maintaining academic standing in the past 3 years, getting your first internship, right? If that was your goal for 2023 and you were able to obtain it, I'm sure that you took some steps to get to that. I also see that for some people, you didn't get a chance to go back to the country to meet parents after 3 years, but I'm sure that that's a goal that you're working on, right? With a little bit of planning, right, is something that is definitely achievable. Um, okay, I see other goals here that you joined the club at LaGuardia to gain employable skills, and that's when you did the SOAR program, and you're assisting clients currently. So that's amazing. Improving your GPA. And one thing is not being able to focus on your studying, right? So I want to take Siraj's goal right here. I think that's a very important one to focus on because if you're trying to improve your GPA, there's certain strategies that you can take that are measurable to get you to go from, let's say, a 3.2 to a 3.5, right? And taking it in small strides so that you can reach your goal at the end of the year. And not being able to focus on your studies, I hope that this session today is able to help you to find little pockets of time so that you're able to concentrate and focus more on your studies so that you can achieve that goal that you set out to. Um, I'm loving all of these responses, right? Internship, securing the internships, getting your grades, improving your GPA, beautiful goals. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to teach you about how you can, for the goals that you weren't able to achieve, how you can achieve them. So we're going to play you this quick video on how we could develop your learning action plan and how we will utilize your SMART goals in the learning action plan to help you get there, right? To help you reach those goals that you're still working on. So Kayla, if you don't mind going to the next slide, and the YouTube video link is on the next slide, please. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go. So this video focuses on learning on SMART goals, and SMART is an acronym, and it tells you what each letter stands for and an explanation as to how you could better develop goals.
Thanks for stopping by. This is 2 Minute Classroom, and today we're talking about setting goals using the SMART method. Goal setting is a great activity anytime, but is especially popular around New Year's, at the start of the school year, and beginning of sports season. I would love to hear some of your goals in the comments, and I'll put some of mine in the description below. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We'll go through each of these using the example goal of doing well on your next exam, a common goal for students. The first step is to make the goal specific. Doing well on your next exam is not specific. Try to answer the questions of what, when, and why. Let's specify your what as scoring at least 90% on your next science exam. For the when, it'll be whenever the exam is. Let's say it's in 4 weeks. The why is very important, as this is your motivation for the goal and something you can look back on if you get discouraged. It could be to improve your grade in the course, to score higher than a friend, or because you want to get into a great university. Whatever will motivate you to keep working on the goal. So now we have a much more specific goal. Score at least 90% on the next science exam 4 weeks from now to help you get to a great university. This goal is looking great, but we're not done yet. The next step is to make sure the goal is measurable. That means there are some metrics attached to the goal to let you know if you reach your goal or not. Looking back at our goal, we see that it is to score at least 90%. This is very measurable, and once you've taken the test and received a score, you will know whether or not you hit the goal. This is why doing well in your next exam is a poor goal. It is not measurable, and there is no clear way to define success or failure. The next step is to check whether the goal is achievable or not. answer the question of how you will achieve this goal. What do you need to do in the next 4 weeks to get at least 90% on the exam? Some examples may include taking notes in class, spending 30 minutes 3 nights per week studying for the exam, and partnering with a friend a week before the exam to review notes and go through a study guide. The point is, you need a plan. Break the goal down into smaller goals that all feed up to the main goal. This will give you a clear path to success. The fourth step is to ensure the goal is relevant. And this step is more of a gut check to see if it fits well with your life right now. Ask yourself the following questions. Does this goal align with my long-term objectives? Does it keep me on track with other goals in my life? Will focusing on this goal pull me away from other more important goals? After thinking through this step, you should feel confident your goal is relevant and even more motivated to achieve it. Scoring at least 90% on your next science exam is relevant because it will give you confidence in school and feed into larger goals around future education and career. The last step is to make the goal time-bound. A time-bound deadline acts as a target and helps you work backwards and set smaller steps to get there. If you set a fitness goal to do 100 consecutive push-ups, but don't set a deadline to reach that goal, then it probably won't happen. Hitting a certain score on an exam is time-bound by default because there is a specific date for the exam, which allows us to break the goal into smaller steps leading up to the exam. And here's a bonus tip. If you truly want to reach your goals, then you have to write them down and look at them often. I recommend keeping a daily or weekly planner to track your progress. I put some excellent planner recommendations in the description that will help you make your goals a reality. Remember to share your goals in the comments. I'll read and respond to as many of them as I can. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Kayla. So in a nutshell, right, we saw how much of a difference it can make to have a goal that's smart rather than just a goal by saying, I want to lose, let's say, 10 pounds or I want to gain 10 pounds, right? Because I've seen both sides of it. Instead, when you're utilizing the SMART strategy, you're being more specific, right? And how you're being more timely, right? You're putting a deadline as to what that means, right? You're breaking it up into smaller components, and you're also measuring. There's like, for example, to simplify things, right? Does losing 10 pounds mean losing that within the matter of a year, or does that mean losing it within the matter of 6 months for health reasons, right? And if so, you want to make sure that you are putting it into more smaller, reachable, as mentioned, measurable segments, right? So that you don't discourage yourself from reaching the bigger ultimate goal that's going to take a lot more time. So I saw a lot of really great goals here. For example, one of them was still have decreasing the screen time, right, on your phone. That's something that's definitely doable. If you just say something along the lines of, I want to decrease my screen time, right? That might be a little bit harder to achieve because what does that look like, right? Decreasing screen time can be, it is addicting, right? We've all experienced it, right? We get up, the first thing we do is we check our phone, we check our messages, we check, TikTok, we see everything that's going on, right, in the world, utilize it on the bus, right? So what does that mean, right? Is decreasing screen time from, like, let's say you have a screen time of 15 hours in a day, right? For both work, school, and entertainment. Does that mean decreasing it to 10 hours per day, right? Because you are utilizing it in your workplace, right? You do have a screen time measurement on your phone, right? That's something that you can utilize to your advantage, and challenging yourself as to how you're going to do this. Being specific. Are you going to be doing this by removing 2 hours of TikTok time per day, right? That's the measurable, and that's the specific component of it. Is it attainable? Like, realistically, are you also utilizing it to view your classes on Blackboard, right? If that's the case, then maybe you need to increase the amount of time you're utilizing your phone because you're utilizing it for things that you actually need. And then you're also going to put the time boundness, right? How long are you looking to achieve this goal in, right? Is it you're going to try to do this 10-hour goal in the matter of a week, or is this more of a 1 month project, right? And taking it by strides. Maybe first you want to do 10 hours of screen time, then eventually decrease it to 8 hours of screen time, then eventually decrease it to maybe even 5, right? It really depends on how specific you want to get. But the best way to do this is by creating little pockets, right? And not just reaching a more generic or a more vague um, version of your goal, right? If you follow the SMART method, you'll be able to reach your goals for sure if you keep to them. Now I'm going to ask Kayla if you could backtrack to the slide before this, please. Thank you. So we're going to apply this to our learning action plan, the SMART goal mentality. And the learning action plan is your individual outline for what you will learn and accomplish as you engage in your internship site. So you will create this plan during your first few weeks at your internship site. Some of you already have completed about 20 hours. I think some of you are up to 30 to 40 hours, right? So you already have an idea as to what you're doing, right? Maybe the internship site is different than what you imagined, right? You want to create, you already have a little bit of experience. So right now is a perfect time to set up your goals and think about um, what you want to prioritize, what are your next steps, and be more deliberate about where you want to focus your learning and your growth, because this internship experience is for that, right? It's for you to learn and get the most out of it um, in terms of knowledge, skills, and professional development, as you see here. So we could go to the next two slides because we go more in depth on knowledge, skills, and professional development in the next two. Um, so actually we go to one more. Sorry, Kayla. Oh, where did my slide go? Let me see. Yes, there we go. The expansion of knowledge. So when we are developing our knowledge goal, we want to talk about um, what type of knowledge you want to gain in your SOAR in the SOAR internship program, including the work that you're doing in either your nonprofit work, your community needs, um, and in this space, I'm not sure if you could go back to the slide, Kayla. But in this space, I'll give you an example. The knowledge should be information that you would like to gain or expand, such as expanding best practices, processes, trends, needs, method, approaches, principles, systems, etc. So, for example, an example of the knowledge goal would be during my internship this year, I will increase my knowledge and understanding of issues facing New York City immigrants by completing one informational interview with an administrator at my placement during the fall semester, in this situation during the spring semester, to acquire more information about the challenges nonprofits serving immigrants face, right? So if that's something that you're passionate about, right, and something you want to know more about, you're putting a little bit more information as to what specifically are you looking to learn in your internship site. Um, and you're also putting the time base, right? So you're saying during the fall semester, and you're also talking about how you're going to complete one informational interview. So try to utilize the SMART method into the knowledge goal. So we'll go to the next slide. Very similarly, when you're writing or you're thinking about your goal for developing your skill set, um, you can start thinking about any skills that you can potentially learn in your internship site, such as maybe typing skills, a particular software. So, for example, if you're currently participating in an engineering internship site, perhaps AutoCAD is something that you want to learn more about, Excel, right? Presentation skills, public speaking skills, or anything that your internship site has already told you you're going to be working with, right? Think about what is a skill set that you would want to take with you for future places of employment. And these are just a few examples. So I'm going to read you the example that we're giving you here. During my internship this year, I will improve my presentation skills by signing up for a PowerPoint workshop this fall. I will develop one PowerPoint presentation per semester in relation to my work at my site with the support and guidance from my site supervisor. So once again, you can start seeing how the SMART goals are being applied by being specific, by adding one measurable component, which is one PowerPoint presentation, by putting the time, right, pressure of it, and by seeing if it's achievable, right? By getting the support and guidance from your site supervisor. Okay, so if we go to the last one. Okay, so we have the expansion of professional development. So here, we want you to develop a goal for yourself in terms of what, in addition to the SOAR internship program professional development workshops, what are some other things that you can be a part of, that can increase your resume, right? That could increase your LinkedIn profile, or that can help you be better professionally developed in the career that you're pursuing. This could be either through volunteering, this could be through exploring different service learning activities, participating or volunteering in hackathons, being part of clubs or activities, right? So it can be related to your internship site, but it could also be activities that you seek out for yourself, either on campus at LaGuardia or within your community or within other areas. So for example, here, the example is during my internship this year, I will increase my understanding of new developments in tech by talking to senior employees within my organization and attending at least one tech conference per semester. My goal is to get out of my comfort zone and attend one networking event or hackathon by June 30th, 2023, right? That already passed. But this is an example as to how you're going to be increasing your professional development skill sets, right? And adding this into your resume as well. So um, let's go back to the working session slide, Kayla, if you don't mind. There is a link here that I'm going to provide in the chat. And you're basically going to be doing the same, right? I posted it in the chat. Kayla has it here at the top in the screen, where you're going to develop your own learning action plan. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sharing this plan with your supervisor, right? So we're going to be attaching it to your timesheet system so that you can constantly be reminded of this, and it could spark a conversation with your supervisor who will help you obtain or reach your learning action plan. So if you can just see in this chat, I'm sorry, you can see in the chat the link. You can post the name of your internship site, your title, and then write your goals. And then we'll give everybody about 10 minutes to work on this independently. And once you're done, you can submit it. You could write it in the chat that you have finished this, and then we'll take it from there. All right, so does everybody have the link? I think you might need to refresh it. We made some changes recently, so if you could just refresh it really quickly before starting it. And we'll go ahead and play some music in the background. We'll take about 10 minutes for you to complete your goals. If you have any questions along the way, we're here to support you in answering those questions. And just let us know in the chat once you are done, please.
Hello?
Hi, Kevin. Yes, do you have a question?
Hey, how are you? Yeah, so for the handout we're just working on is for the conflict resolution and learning action plan, correct?
It for right now, it's learning action plan. Yes, the conflict
Um,
resolution and learning action plan. So it's pretty much putting your goals into the sections where it's asking you about your knowledge, your skills, and where you want to increase your professional development.
okay, I don't see that on the
You might
on
have to go to the
the
next page.
next
Yeah.
page.
For example, for the first question, you could put N/A and then go to the next page.
Yeah,
On
Flynn, I
main-
finished.
Perfect, Jonathan. Thank you. If you can't see it, try to refresh it and then it'll show you the skills. Try to refresh it and see if that works.
Okay. And this is the link that you sent over, right? The Google Forms link?
The Google Forms. Yeah.
No, it just shows me the video that we went over the presentation, internship site, position title, And then it starts asking questions about how conflict arises, 4 strategies to incorporate to
Yeah.
resolve conflict.
Yeah, you're in the right one. So once you click on next, it'll show you the learning action plan.
Next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
It says that there's a handout. Do I review the handout as well?
For that one, you could go to next.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now I see where it says expansion of knowledge.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, and that is time. So please start submitting your responses. I see an influx of responses coming in. Remember that we're going to share this with your site supervisor as well so that you can reach these goals, right, throughout your internship experience. Right now, you're at roughly 20 to 40 hours, right? So you still have, a few more weeks, a few more months at your internship site. This can also be a really great segue whenever you're having your one-on-one meetings with your supervisors to talk to them about your career goals and what your aspirations are, right? What skills do you want to learn? How can they help you with your professional advancement? So it's really important to submit these. And while you're doing your one-on-one sessions with your advisor, we're going to touch upon your learning action plan and see if you have reached your goals, if you need to develop new ones, right? Or what it is you need to do in order to reach them, and or maybe even to make them more specific, to make them a little bit more timely, right? Very similarly to how we discussed earlier today. So if you still haven't had a chance to submit your learning action plan, please submit it by Monday, April 1st. At the latest, right, you have the link. Keep on working on this throughout the rest of the session, right? We don't want to take up too much of your time either, so we're gonna end off this session roughly 15 minutes early. And to wrap us all up, I'm going to go ahead and pass on the virtual mic to Shritzi to tell you a little bit more about upcoming events and also the hours and remind you of the timesheet system. So Shritzi, please feel free to take on the virtual mic.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. I hope you have enjoyed the 3/4 of the presentation. So as Jacqueline mentioned, we will review this video about tracking hours, which we probably, if you remember, we saw it during the orientation. And most of you probably already know how to track hours if you are doing the tracking in the Career Connect. So go ahead, Caleb, please play the video.
Hello, my name is Alex, your LaGuardian support for managing your Career Connect. Today I will help you know how to submit tracked hours on Career Connect, where you will learn how to submit and check or edit your weekly tracked hours in a few easy steps. So, let us begin. For starters, to get to your Career Connect account, you can reach a quick link icon by logging into your My LaGuardia account using your LaGuardia email and your password, which is your EMPL ID and the last 2 digits of your birth year. Once logged in, you can find the LAGCC Career Connect icon down in the eTools box. Once in the home screen of Career Connect, head to your profile name icon on the top right, click on it, and then click on the My Experiential Learning bar. When that leads you to the Experiential Learning tab, you will find the list of jobs you are in, to which you can click on the Track Hours bar next to Review. After that, you will be led to the list of hours that you may start implementing as you are assigned to do. Pressing the Add Hours icon will open a small page where you will add the time frame that you worked in a given week, the hours worked in total, and a small description of what has been accomplished throughout the time. Once submitted, your week's hours will appear with a pending status until your supervisor approves it. Note, be brief and write in a cohesive manner that was agreed upon with you and your supervisor. Edits are allowed as long as they are submitted before your supervisor approves it. You must work at least 10 hours a week and cannot not exceed the 10 hours per week. Remind your supervisor to approve your hours, and you are not paid for lunch break, so lunch break hours should not be included in tracking. Working more than 6 hours are required a lunch break. But for more information, questions, or concerns, please contact Career Services. Thank you, and I hope I was of assistance.
Okay, great. So hopefully this video kind of reminded you how to track your hours. If you haven't done so, please do track your hours. Ask your supervisor to approve those hours so we can continue to pay, we can start the payment process for the first stipend. We'll take questions at the end. Let me go through the material first, and then we'll answer any questions.
Hello.
All right, so the next slide is, right, just like this workshop, for example, is committed to you guys only, the SOAR students workshop, but we also have other workshops. We have our signature workshops or general workshops that happen multiple times in this semester. And then we have special workshops that the topics are a little bit more in depth, and we give them once a semester. So you can see the schedule. This schedule is posted on Career Connect as well, on our social media, in our office, on our school boards. If you walk around, we have bulletin boards. You see these flyers there as well. Also, you can use, as Kayla is hovering her mouse over there, right? You can see there is social media links here. So if you want to grab a screenshot of this slide, please do so. So that way you have this information with you. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so Deloitte is canceled, right?
Yes.
Yes, we could remove that. Unfortunately, it was
So
canceled.
we did not get a time to update this, but Deloitte site visit has been canceled, so do not pay attention to that, scratch that. But we still have Project Alpaca. That is a online workshop they're doing. That's a great nonprofit organization that assists students coming from a entering in a tech background with under resources college students, right? So please, if you want to join them, they also kind of help you articulate your presentation, how to make plans, pitch your ideas. There's so many things that goes on. And when you attend the program with Project Alpaca, and you do get to learn real skills, and you also get to learn how to collaborate with students from different colleges and do team projects. All right. The next one here is the FBI career panel. So if you are interested in working with the federal government, especially with FBI, they will be here on April 4th from 11:45 to 1:30 in room E111. If to show you guys, right, or to give you information about what's the process, right? What are some of the jobs that are available for students or internships that might be coming up during the summertime, especially in New York City area, right? Maybe they have more options in Washington, DC and things, but especially in New York City areas, if you want to learn about that, please join us for this career panel. Next slide, please. Our next event is a Shark Tank event. I don't know if you got to attend our events that has happened in the month of March. For example, we had game day, we had a job fair and an internship fair. Now our next event that is CCPD is hosting is the Shark Tank. So just like a TV Shark Tank show, it's a design based on that, but it's a competition. It's TV people are not gonna be here. Let me just tell you that first. But you are again given a platform to pitch your idea about a product maybe you have an idea about, or you want to reinvent a product that you already use. You can even pitch your favorite product. Why is your favorite product? If you get the QR code here, you're able to see instructions and also able to see some guides about how to write a business plan and such. The form is due on April 5th. If you need anything, any ideas or you want to discuss, you can visit us at CCPD room B114. or you can directly contact me and I can help you with your ideas. Next slide, please. Now, we have in the month of May, there's a lot more coming, but for now we have language fair. So all of you who are bilingual, multilingual, if you want to learn about, this field of interpretation, translation, you can attend this event that is happening on May 7th. And that will be in, again, room E111. You are able to learn from the people who will be presenting or and ask them questions about how did they get into that in this field, what is required, right? Do we have to take some kind of proficiency test? Let's say if you speak Spanish, is it okay saying that I'm a native speaker, or do you take some type of test, right? So you can actually ask that during this language career fair. And then again, we have another great event happening in May, which is a LaGuardia's Hackathon. The computer science students, we know you guys going to be there. So it was a whole weekend. It starts on May 3rd, ends on a Sunday for you guys to finish your project and submit the project of that weekend, May 5th. And then May 6th, we celebrate the winners, right? Meaning all of you guys who participated in the hackathon. If you're interested, again, we have the QR code available. Please scan it, fill out the form, and we'll meet you on May 3rd for this one. Next slide, please. All right. Reminders, right? So submitting your internship agreement forms. If you have not done that yet, please do that. Also, you have on the side, you see the QR code for pre-internship survey. Most of you probably have completed when we did the orientation. If you haven't done that, please do that. Review the conflict handout. Okay, so make sure, please review that. If you have not done so, complete your hiring paperwork. I hope all of you have done it. If you haven't, please do so. First payment will be based on the hours you have completed, right? Some of you have started on the first mark of this semester, right? When the semester started. Some of you started a little bit later. So you also have that schedule in your handbook. Also your attendance in the workshop, survey completion, and check-in attendance, right? So those are very important. If you have not met with your advisor for this month, checking in with your advisor, please do that. That way you are up to date with all the requirements. Okay, and that was my next point, scheduling your one-on-one appointment via Career Connect for this month, right? Today is the last date, and we're almost reaching the last hour of today as well. Our next professional development workshop or the session will be with President Adams, as we have been saying that from the beginning of this program started. It will be on Friday, April 19th from 2:30 to 4:30, and it will be in person in room 2E242.
Thank you. Yeah, I just changed it. They just changed this from poolside to E242.
Yes, so we just got informed about that, so we're giving you the fresh, but we will be sending out invitations as well, flyers and everything. We will be calling you and texting you. That's the normal way of us doing the business. Now, student success stories, I will let Kayla speak more about it. So go ahead, Kayla. You have the virtual mic.
Thank you very much. So for the student success stories, CCPD's marketing team really wants to gather more success stories from students and the things that they've done and all the great accomplishments that they have made during their time at this school. And so to support with that, we've created a student success stories form where we've gathered information right from you all, right, from all the great things that you are doing, either with internships or if you've landed a job, you're working in or you're doing volunteer work, research, whatever it is. We want to hear your successes. And so if you can take time throughout the weekend or today to complete this form, just to give you a little bit of a, if my computer will not be so sticky and I can get out of it, just to give you a little bit of what the form looks like. You do have an option to choose from the different experiences, like I mentioned. So if you want to share your success story of an internship, you would just select internship. If it's related to employment, you can select employment, service learning, research, you would select that. And there's different questions where you can answer and share your successes in there. So please, if you have time, take the time to complete it. I'm going to put that in the chat for you all. Because we would love to celebrate the successes that all of you have accomplished already, right? With being accepted into SOAR and being placed in your internships, that is already a great success. And so we really want to highlight those. In the form as well is a media release agreement. So if you are okay with us sharing this success story on our social media or on our bulletin boards throughout the college, just let us know. And then also there's an area within the form that asks for you to submit or share a photo of yourself if you would like, right? It's still optional. You can still submit a success story without a photo. But if you would like to, it does indicate to email your photo to one of our colleagues named Yevi, and it has their email on the form. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, the link to it is in the chat. But that is all. Are there any other things, Christy or Jacqueline, that you think we're missing, or you think we're good?
I think all set on my end.
Awesome.
Yeah, me too, me too.
So at this time, I know that we had a hand raised for a question. So are there, yes, so Brendan?
Go ahead, Brendan.
Mic issue, gotcha.
He's having issues with his mic.
Oh, okay. So maybe you could just write it in the chat.
Yes, definitely. Are there any other questions as well? Anyone have any questions about any of the reminders, any of the content for today? Conflict resolution, learning action plan?
I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for providing the information today, and it's been very helpful and engaging. And yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. So if no other questions, I think we could close out, Kayla. What do you think? We're closing out 15 minutes early?
Yeah.
Brandon just answered. He just said on the chat that he started his internship late and needs to do more hours by the end of June 12th. Is that correct?
So Brendan, you could stick around for an additional 5 minutes. I think we can answer that question on a one-on-one basis. And for all of the students here that have questions too, we could stick around for another 5 minutes. But if no additional questions, I want to thank you all for your time. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And thank you so much once again for all of your great answers. I was reading through the learning action plans and really impressed with all the goals that you are setting out for yourself. So please keep in communication with us and we'll see you soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.